whether the child's going to have an allergic reaction. That may have been part of the first one she had. I don't know. So we did IVIGs. Well, we did that a number of times, and eventually she was getting them once a month. One IVIG a month. We slowed down. It was a half a milliliter. Want to say that? 0.25 milligrams of prednisone in the morning and 0.25 milligrams of prednisone in the evening. And we took it down by 0.05, right?
No, what we did was, for a whole month, we would bring her down at night, 0.25. Then the next month, we'd bring her down in the morning, 0.25. And that took us literally 6 years to get her off the prednisone so she wouldn't relapse.
Yeah, so it was probably a combination of her body was growing, a very slow reduction of prednisone, a lot of IVIGs, and a lot of physical and occupational therapy. And when Chloe was, how old were you when you did karate?
8 or 9.
That's what we started with, right? Karate?
Yeah.
The physical therapist thought that karate would be good for her to strengthen her stomach muscles and her core. And so we got her into karate lessons, and she liked that. And did you ever put that picture up, that karate kid picture?
Yeah, I think I found that.
And then there's the karate kid right there. Got all the way to yellow belt, or orange belt. Orange belt. And she had that was while we were still in Southern California. She also took ballet lessons in Southern California about this time, maybe after this time. After that time. Again, to strengthen balance in the core muscles. Chloe's very musical and very talented, and right brain is just on fire. She does great things. Really cool, creative things. And she really liked ballet. Well, then we moved to Wisconsin from Southern California so that Dad could be a farmer. By this time, Chloe has way fewer symptoms. And we went and got her horseback riding lessons because, again, the doctor said that will strengthen the core muscles. And she took horseback riding lessons for a while. About a year. Yeah. So a lot of therapy kind of stuff, but stuff that she liked doing. We didn't force her to do any of it. Yeah, she wanted to do it. Yeah, she had some swimming lessons here at the pool, at the high school when we got here. I guess that's the historical piece in a nutshell. We covered some medicines there. We covered behavior. You want to talk about your behavior?
My behavior was good.
I remember, was it a Father's Day or a birthday? It's my birthday, and we went to a restaurant, and Chloe was about, I don't know, 4?
I don't remember.
5 or maybe somewhere around 5 years old. And she burst into a temper tantrum in the restaurant that about cleared the room. And Mom got very frustrated, and we had a hard time trying to figure out if we should be kinder, gentler parents or stricter parents. Now, granted, this is our first child. We didn't know what we were doing anyway. And so we tried them both. Well, that night we tried the not-so-gentle parent, and Nancy took her out into the car and made her cool down, sort of like a timeout. So we did a lot of timeouts. We didn't do We didn't do spankings. We did a lot of timeouts. But Chloe was very emotional, and so hurt feelings very easily, and, a timeout was a very big punishment for Chloe.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So that brings us to driving. Chloe got her driver's license the very first road test she took and the very first written test she took. Testing is very hard for her because of the filling in the dots on the lines and trying to keep them straight in her head. So we let her use, and the teachers let her use rulers to kind of keep things on a line when she's taking tests. Different colored papers. When she was first learning how to read, there's a ruler, kind of a straight edge that has a cutout in the middle of it, and it would have a pink film on it. So almost like you're highlighting that text in pink, and she could move that across the page, and that really seemed to help her focus more on the words and really kind of get the words out. Today, Chloe will sit down and read a Harry Potter novel in a week or less, and she's amazing. Part of what we did in California for the occupational, physical, and speech therapy was a program called Linda Mood Bell, and I think she's from the Northwest, isn't it?
It's a reading program.
It's a reading program, and it's very expensive, but if you can get your
She actually do a math program too, but we only used it for reading.
Yeah.
To help her recall. She had a hard time recalling after she read something. She couldn't repeat it back.
Right.
So they were to do to get you to be able to repeat the story back so that it helped you remember things.
Playback.
Different colored cells they use for that.
So that kind of thing. So that helps a lot.
She's used books on tape, and she would play those while she's reading the book, which I think helped. What other tricks did we use? She wrote in sugar. One of the occupational or physical therapists said, try to get her to spell in sugar. And it was that texture that the finger in the sugar made the letter, and that seemed to register. And it helped teach her really good. So we did sugar in pans. We did shaving cream on walls in the bathtub. Anything that you could do that was texture. Textile.
Yeah, it seems to help me remember things.
To help with behavior, we took her to a child therapist because she was so afraid of doctors.
Chloe would freak out at doctors, and she hates the smell of hospitals. She hates the smell of the doctor's office.
The dentist going on.
The dentist, she freaked out at the dentist. And when she had to have one of the things the prednisone did was rotted some of her teeth pretty quickly, and she had to have some major oral surgery done. And in order to do that, we had to get her into the hospital and have her on anesthesia to do that. But she freaked out with doctors, so we used a child psychologist. Saw her a number of times in Southern California to help her try to get over the fear or help control the fear. How about you, Tom? Tell me your story. I'm done talking to you.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Michael, what would you like her to tell you?
Oh, I've got all sorts of questions for Chloe. Chloe, why don't you tell us about high school years and finish up the presentation? Then I've got people asking, they want to ask you questions.
Okay.
Tell us about high school, and currently you're taking some classes at the college, right?
Right, yeah, I'm getting started looking for colleges right now.
We took a class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. Well, my high school years, we came here when I started middle school. And so I'm naturally a very shy and quiet person. So communicating during school was kind of hard. So
Very shy, uber shy.
yeah.
And what did we do in high school with the teachers?
We would have lots of IEP meetings. With every teacher I ever had, we would sit them down and we would have an IEP meeting and explain to them what they could and couldn't expect from me and the things that would help me. And
Yeah, your dad created a white paper.
We did a white paper, everything you want to know about OMS and Chloe. And you got to keep them simple and straightforward. It's a single page. I can send you copies of it if you want to distribute it. But every semester, when she'd have change of teachers in high school, in addition to the IEP meetings, we would force them all to sit down in the same room with us and, okay, you haven't had Chloe before? Here's Chloe, here's the white paper. We go through it. It'd take about 20 minutes. And I don't know, do you think that helps?
I think it helps for some teachers, you know, they knew what to expect and kind of prepared him for me.
Some teachers key in on that stuff, some...
Well, we found that the resource person was not relaying any information to the teachers.
Right.
So to be proactive, we would meet at the beginning of each semester. And actually, a lot of the teachers, one of her teachers had a child with special needs, and she had some great ideas to contribute to the meeting. So we found that was very beneficial, that, you know, you have to advocate for your child. The doctors, with the school, you know, every avenue you can go through, you have to advocate because...
nothing's going to be easy.
Especially Chloe looks so normal and verbalizes so well that when we would first brought her here to Wisconsin, she got lost in the cracks. The first day of school, when she's totally unfamiliar with the school, trying to get to her next class, and the teachers would tell her, well, go down the hall, turn left, and go down 2 doors, past the bathroom, and then go right, and your classroom's right there. Well, so she came home in tears because she couldn't find her classes. So, you know, advocate, but...
So what we did then, every semester, we would get the class schedule with Chloe, and we would walk to every class
Right.
before the semester started, so she would at least have familiarity with the hallways, the doors, the rooms, that kind of thing.
Practice my locker combination. Yeah, we try to get familiar with everything.
And because she hadn't played team sports, which is super big here in Wisconsin, it's all sports, and because when she was little and she was on a really high dose of prednisone, she got very sick. Any kind of cold she would get, when Mark would come home from traveling, the pediatrician made him change his clothes and shower before he could even touch her because she got so sick. She got pneumonia. And the pediatrician finally said, I can't give her any more antibiotics. Nothing's working. So
we isolated her.
We isolated
every
her
time
a lot.
we told the school, and we sent a letter to the school, and in the white paper, we said, if anybody in the school reports chicken pox, please let us know, because Chloe was not allowed to have immunizations after 18 months. That's always a big deal with schools, but you just have to sit them down and say, okay, here's what the doctor said, here's about OMS, here's why she wasn't immunized, here's why she's not going to be immunized. And so you got to advocate. 3 things you can do, the best 3 things you can do for your child: advocate, advocate, advocate. Don't believe the doctors know everything. Don't believe the teachers know everything. And obviously we don't know everything. So go into it like that.
But back to high school, gym was very hard for Chloe. She didn't have the sports background. She wasn't very coordinated.
Gym was traumatizing.
So we had to work directly with the gym teacher, and they actually, when we came here, started up physical and occupational therapy again, and worked with her more on learning team sports, just so she would know, because they wouldn't explain the rules to her for volleyball or the rules for softball. And so they actually started physical and occupational therapy here again in Wisconsin for her. But, you know,
Well, part of it had to do with being, it was all team sports that we would do. And since I'm so shy to begin with, being involved in a team was like, it wasn't normal for me.
It's good. So, you want to show the video?